All right, today we're diving into something that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's actually rebuilding the internet as we speak. We're talking about zero-knowledge proofs. This is a pretty incredible technology that's all about bringing back our privacy and, at the same time, unlocking massive scale online. And the best part? It's not some far-off theory. It's already here. So let's break it all down.
Okay, so the whole thing kicks off with a puzzle, a paradox really, that sounds, well, impossible. Think about it. How could you prove you know a secret, like a password, without actually telling anyone the password? Or how could you prove you have enough money for something without revealing your bank balance? I mean, how on earth is that even possible?
Well, here's a really simple way to think about it. Imagine you're at a bar. You need to prove you're old enough to get in, but you don't want to show your ID. Why? Because your ID has everything on it. Your name, your address, your exact birthday. You just want to prove one single fact. I am over 21. You don't want to hand over a treasure trove of your personal data to do it. And that, right there, is the exact problem that zero-knowledge proofs are built to solve. So let's get into what makes this impossible proof possible. Okay, let's get just a little formal for a second. A zero-knowledge proof, or ZK proof, is basically a crypto method where one person, called the prover, that's you, can convince someone else, the verifier, that a statement is true. The key is, the verifier learns nothing else beyond the fact that your statement is true. You create this clever mathematical proof, they check it, and if it's good, they're convinced. And your actual secret, it stays completely safe.
All right, this all sounds a bit like a magic trick, right? So how do we know we can actually trust it? Well, for any of this to work, it has to follow three really strict rules. You can think of them as the three pillars of trust that make the whole system secure.
And this table lays them out perfectly. The first pillar is completeness. This just means that if your statement is true, you can always prove it. Simple enough, right? Your real passport will always prove your age. The second pillar is soundness. This is the flip side. If your statement is false, you can't cheat the system. A fake ID is going to get spotted. But the third one, this is the real superpower, zero knowledge. The verifier, our bouncer, learns only that you're old enough. Not your name, not your address, not when you were born. Nothing. That's the magic.
Okay, so the theory is super cool. But let's get practical. Where is this stuff actually being used? I mean, what are ZK's real-world superpowers? Let's take a look at where it's making a difference, like right now.
And it turns out the applications are, well, they're all over the place. You've got privacy coins like Zcash, where you can send money without anyone seeing the amounts. You've got private identity systems. You can prove you're a citizen without ever showing your passport data. And it's even popping up in AI and machine learning, where you can prove a model was trained correctly without giving away the secret sauce, the proprietary formula. We're also seeing it in gaming and NFTs to prove you own something rare without broadcasting it to the world.
But out of all of those, what's the biggest impact right now? The one that's attracting billions of dollars? It's scaling blockchains, specifically taking a massive network like Ethereum and making it way faster and way cheaper for all of us to use. So just how much faster are we talking? Well, get ready for this number. We're talking over 10,000 transactions per second. Yeah. The way it works is with something called a ZK rollup. Basically, you take thousands of transactions, you bundle them up or roll them up off the main chain, and then you generate one single tiny proof that says, hey, all of these are valid. You post that one little proof back on chain and boom, you've just confirmed thousands of transactions at once. I mean, just look at this chart. The difference is staggering. On the left, you've got native Ethereum, chugging along at about 15 transactions a second. And then on the right, with ZK rollups, that number just explodes past 10,000. It's not even a fair fight. It's literally the difference between a little country road and a massive superhighway. This is what makes mass adoption of this tech even possible. Okay, so let's peek into the hood for just a second. We're not going to get lost in the complex math, I promise. But it's really important to understand that ZK isn't just one single thing. It's more like a whole family of different proof systems, and each one has its own unique flavor, its own pros and cons. And this table gives you a really good snapshot of the landscape in 2025. You've got the famous ZK snarks, which are awesome because they're super small and efficient, but they have this thing called a trusted setup, which can be a bit tricky. Then you have ZK starks. Their proofs are bigger, but they're what we call transparent, no trusted setup needed. And get this, they're even considered resistant to quantum computers. And then you have newer flavors like bulletproofs for confidential transactions and things like Plonky 3, which are all about making this powerful tech way more developer-friendly. So let's bring it all home.
why does any of this matter right now, in 2025? The main takeaway is this. This is not some in-the-future technology anymore. It is happening right now, and frankly, it is a huge deal. We're talking about a market that's already worth over $10 billion. And why? Because ZK Tech is the engine behind almost all the solutions, making Ethereum actually usable for millions and millions of people. It's the core infrastructure of the modern blockchain space. In all that value, it's translating directly into the job market. The demand for engineers who actually get this stuff, it's absolutely exploding. We're talking salaries for skilled ZK engineers that are easily clearing over $250,000 a year. The talent is in seriously high demand.
But maybe the most crucial point is that this is breaking out of the crypto niche. When you see the big players, the financial giants like Visa and MasterCard, starting to test ZK for private payments, you know a massive shift is happening. This is the technology that's bridging the gap to mainstream financial privacy.
When you step back, what this tech really represents is a fundamental shift in how we do things online. For decades, the internet has basically run on a trust me model. We just hand our data over to big tech companies and cross our fingers, hoping they do the right thing with it. Well, ZK proofs completely flip that script. We're moving from a world of trust me to a world of prove it. And that really leaves us with a huge question to chew on. What does a provable internet actually look like? An internet where you don't have to trust, you can just verify. Where privacy isn't some add-on you have to fight for, but it's the default. What would that world look like to you? Think about the problems we could solve if we had the power to prove anything was true without having to reveal everything.